Ms Legalista here. Thank you for joining the video. I want to talk to you about your work environment. This sort of idea that your employer and your colleagues and this whole organizational culture that you're being paid to show up and participate in is somehow your family, and what that really means to you from a professional standpoint and what that means to you from a mental standpoint. Some of you may have been in situations where your employer would sometimes have like a friends and family day where it was a picnic or some sort of outing. People were supposed to bring their significant others, their children. There was fun and games, food and drink for everyone to come and have a grand time, for you to interact and get to know your colleagues and their families a little bit better. Well, number one, not everybody wants to do that. And number two, you shouldn't necessarily have to. It's not really part of the job. That's not what they're paying you to do. So there are these friends and family days. Think about the friends and family discounts. The whole idea that once you come on board, you're joining the ABC family and that we're all a team now. It can be a bit much for people who really are not interested in having an additional family because they have a family at home that they care for and that they do things with and that they are truly committed to. Your work environment is generally a contractual relationship. They pay you to show up and do work, and you do work as long as they continue to pay you. If either of those fall to the wayside, well, guess what? Parties are going to be like, so long, bye, bye. And most of the time, you're going to walk away and find something else. On the employer side, if they decide they need to fire you, terminate, they're cutting back, they need to institute layoffs, well, again, it's bye, bye. There's no obligation for them to keep you on board. It's very different from how you would probably treat a family member. This sort of idea that a company is your family feels like it comes from, I guess, maybe, I don't know, 60 years or so ago, when the person who sort of left the house in the morning and went to work had these particular jobs that they were supposed to do. I'm really sort of focusing on gender roles here, where the man was the breadwinner and the woman stayed at home and cleaned the house and made sure there was dinner and family. All of the kids were taken care of. The roles were very specific and society was set up in a certain way. Well, it's 2024 now. Most of the time, things don't work like that anymore. Usually, if you walk into a lot of households, both of the parents need to have jobs in order for them to be able to even buy a house now. Something that's very different from what was the case back in the 1950s or 60s. So the corporate culture and the family corporate culture may not be something that you even want to have in your life anymore. And so when you start to go out and look at these jobs that say, oh, yes, and we have a great family culture and environment here, and we consider you to be part of the family when you come on board, that's a company you should be really looking very hard at to decide whether or not you really want to work there. I want to go to this Harvard Business Review article. It's titled "The Toxic Effects of Branding Your Workplace a Family." And I want to scroll down to a section here, if I can actually pull it up so that you can see it, that talks about some of the issues on the company side and some of the issues on the personal side when the lines begin to blur. You can see their personal and professional lines begin to blur. So let me scroll down to this part where it says, an exaggerated sense of loyalty becomes harmful. When a family member is in need or requires significant commitment on your end, you rarely have to think twice, right? Something wrong with your husband, something wrong with your child, a parent. You're just like, oh, these things have to be done. Well, now if you're working in this company environment and you feel like it's your family, then you may feel more obligated because you're being emotionally manipulated to take on more and do more, even though that's not a part of the professional contract that you have as an employee with your employer. So here's the other thing, and this is the part I really want to focus on. It says, but here is the flip side. Numerous examples and research show that overly loyal people are more likely to participate in unethical acts to keep their jobs and are also more likely to be exploited by their employer. These could manifest as being asked to work unreasonable hours or on projects or assignments unrelated to your role, or keeping things under wraps because it's in the company's, read families, best interest. We're all in this together, so you have to play your part, right? And so now you're put into this position where if you had clear boundaries with these people that you work with and with this company, you would clearly say, "Oh, I'm not doing that because y'all are going to get in trouble." We see all the time some of these companies that get in trouble because people in the organization who should have spoken up when they saw unethical activities going on did not. Why? Because their job was on the line, number one. And number two, they felt too closely connected to the other people and the other company. And they felt like they couldn't speak up, couldn't say that what was going on was wrong, and then also couldn't leave. Sometimes they do leave, but sometimes they don't. They're trying to support these other people, and it comes at their own risk. So be careful if you're out there filling out job applications and interviewing with company after company, and they start to use the word family and family culture and start to portray this image that we're all in this together. Because while this is not a true scam, it is something to be on the lookout for. Protect yourself. Nobody else is going to value you or protect you like you are. All right. So be on the lookout for that and stay safe as you're out here applying for some of these jobs with both the scam and the fraud companies, and then the companies like this that look okay, but underneath there's something else going on. All right. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Mwah.